disease lovingly nicknamed the Blue Death, has been plaguing humans throughout history. Since 1817, the lovely cholera has caused 7 worldwide disease pandemics, killing millions and infecting millions more. But before we get to the nitty-gritty on this disease, let's start at the beginning. Cholera, a pathogenic disease, is caused by the pathogen named Vibrio cholerae. Looking at the taxonomy of this pesky little bugger, we can see that it hails from domain Bacterium. The phylum is Proteobacteria. If we add on gamma, we find out what class it's part of. The order is Vibrianales. Similarly, the family is Vibrianaceae. We note that the name of the organism comes from the genus and species, which means that it is from genus Vibrio and species Cholerae. Woo! Now we've got that out of the way, let's look at some kittens for a second. They're just so cute. Okay.
Let's get down to business.
You're probably wondering what our good friend Vibrio cholerae looks like. Well, after scrolling through his Instagram, we can see that it is a gram-negative bacterium. It is rod-shaped and only 1/500th of a millimeter long, which is why you need a really good microscope to actually see them. They also have a flagellum at one cell pole, as well as a pili, which we'll get back to in a little while. Fun fact! The V. cholerae can make ATP through aerobic respiration, the same way we do, or it can switch to fermentative metabolism if there isn't any O2 around. So how does V. cholerae actually infect someone? The most common way for it to be transmitted is through drinking water that naturally has V. cholerae in it, or that has been contaminated by feces or an infected person. Other ways that it can be transmitted are through uncooked shellfish, produce, or leftover uncooked grains. But the process of infection is most usually due to drinking water. This is fine. This is probably fine. Okay, so that was a lot of information. I think it's time for a puppy break! They're just so precious. Wow. Oh my god, look at that small pup. Oh. Okay, now we actually gotta get serious.
Oh, I'm ready, baby. Mama!
Cholera is defined as an infectious and often fatal bacterial disease of the small intestine, typically contracted from infected water supplies and causing severe vomiting and diarrhea. Wow, okay, thanks Dictionary for spoiling the rest of this video. I should have put a spoiler warning. Wait! I still can! Spoiler alert! There we go. Anyways, before the 1850s, doctors assumed that cholera was a miasma. In other words, they thought you contracted it by breathing bad air. However, in 1854, the father of cholera challenged this theory by thinking that it was an ingested particle instead of a miasma. This man was named John Snow. Wait, John Snow?!
You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Well, it turns out he really does know something. He first assumed that cholera couldn't be miasma because he had treated cholera victims and had contracted it from none of them. He was able to trace the infection back to a water pump on Broad Street by showing that the people closest to the pump were the ones dying, and that there was a sewage leak from a cesspool that a baby's diapers had been thrown into. That baby died. As well, one water company got water downstream of a sewage dumpage point, and another got it from upstream. Surprise, surprise, the water upstream didn't get people sick, but the water downstream did, proving that the water had been contaminated by cholera. When John Snow examined water from the Broad Street pump, it's worth noting that there were white, flocculent particles in it. So now that we know the history behind cholera, what does it actually do? Well, people who contract cholera experience extreme cases of diarrhea. It's often called rice water due to the look of it, and it has a fishy smell. If a person is left untreated for cholera, they can produce 10 to 20 liters of diarrhea per day. Another main symptom of cholera is the vomiting of clear liquid. Symptoms can start to show in as little as 2 hours after contraction to 5 days later. As fluid is lost in the body, the person becomes extremely dehydrated, and their skin becomes a blue-gray color, hence the Blue Death. Cholera kills approximately half of the affected individuals. Other symptoms may include
fever, leg cramps, lethargy, sunken eyes, cold, clammy skin, wrinkled hands and feet, drops in blood pressure, muscle cramping and weakness, decreased urine output, altered consciousness, seizures, or coma. Ask your doctor if you think cholera might be right for you.
That doesn't sound right. Never mind that. So do you guys remember when I said that we would get back to the flagellum and pili? They also have a flagellum at one cell pole as well as a pili, which we'll get back to in a little while. Time! Cholera is an infection of the small intestine, and about 2/3 of the bacteria will make it through the acidity of the stomach. After that, the flagellum propels itself into the mucus of the small intestine, and the pili help attach it to the wall. After that, the bacteria multiply, invade host cells, and produce CT. A doctor will be able to diagnose you with cholera using a dipstick test, the test for our good friend V. cholerae. And if the dipstick comes back from the lab positive, then more tests will be done to test antibiotic resistance. They will also likely take stool and swab samples. But treatment will usually start before the results come back due to how fast cholera actually kills. So you might be wondering, how do they treat cholera? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Rehydration therapy. Cholera makes infected individuals extremely dehydrated, which is what kills them. So the most straightforward way to fight back is rehydration. Patients are given lots of clean water with rehydration salts because along with water loss of electrolytes is also a serious concern. Rehydration salts are readily available in pharmacies for oral rehydration therapy, but are often in short supply in areas of need. Rehydration therapy essentially just replaces the water and electrolytes lost so that the patient doesn't die before the body can fight the bacteria. Sometimes antibiotics will be given to fight the bacteria, but usually it's left up to the person's own body to fight it. If patients are given rehydration therapy, the death rate is below 1%. What time is it? Time for another cute animal video!
Oh my god, look at the puppies! Oh, look, this one's walking! Look at this walking pup! Oh, they're in a circle, oh my god!
So how can we prevent contracting cholera? Well, back in the days of cholera pandemics, water safety wasn't a large concern, and sewage ran through the same water that we drank. Nowadays, in order to prevent cholera contraction, our government has strict regulations regarding sanitation and sewage. Proper disposal of waste from cholera victims is key. Additionally, all sewage must be treated with chlorine, ozone, or UV light before it may enter our waterways. Our water is sterilized in the same ways, actually. We ourselves can prevent contraction by taking drugs such as Ducarol before going to a high-risk area. This medication puts a small amount of dead V. cholerae into our body so that our immune system is able to handle the real thing. As well, you should also be wary of food and water you consume in foreign countries, making sure that your food is well cooked and your water and ice were from bottled water. So that's that. This has been your cholera crash course. I hope you learned something, and that you walk away from this video with a new appreciation for our clean water, and that you now know a little bit more than Jon Snow.
Remember, reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye.